Hello, greetings. Thank you for joining us. So, I figured I'd go into the Ukraine. Remote view it actually, and also Area 51. And actually, the idea was to start at Area 51, but it's like, this whole thing's going on. Might as well look into it a little bit. The best of our ability, I think Ukraine's not completely corrupt, but the government is gone. Not to say Russia's any much better, but Ukraine's pretty bad. So it has a monster energy. Some of it's running Biden. Now you wonder the fall of Ukraine's. I don't think you're going to see much different in the U.S. government, but Biden might. It's hard to say with that because there is some influence there. So no matter what anybody says, it's there. Yeah, that's what government's about, selling yourself out. So they seem to do a pretty good job of it. So yeah, and then I'm not sure in our lifetime, but the corruption in Russia would be healed one day. Well, at least when more human rights are allowed. So I know this is going to come back to you. This is obviously going to come back to Russia in some form or another. At least the government itself, maybe not necessarily the people. So yeah, just not to say it's going to be a war or anything like that. It'll come back in some form, but Ukraine will most likely fall. Most likely. Yeah, I didn't feel like the U.S. is going to interfere, and they're not doing anything. Yeah, and just might just let it be and let it fall. So let's see, this weekend or next week, it will be taken over completely. It won't be that long. Now it depends on. Now it's not going to be World War III. I doubt it. This isn't like Hitler or anything. This is far from the. This is not like Hitler. I mean, Ukraine is completely corrupt. So at least the government, not the people. People are probably halfway decent overall, but the government's just, they just feel it. So, and also go to the tall white alien bases. I figure Area 51 would be, because I'm doing this new format, at least for now, give myself a break from the camera. 'Cause I've been on camera. Dude, I've been on camera for what, 7 years going into it? That's a long time. I need to take a break every now and then. I gotta change the format around. The format has not changed that much. Maybe never. Not by much. I'm always on camera, but anyway. There's 7 years worth of videos if you need to see me. So, and let's see here. I'm a total comic for sessions, a scheduler. I have a shop. Shit, I've just got into February. I'm like on the 6th. I'm on the 4th. I'm on February 4th, and the month's almost over. Same situation here. We have a webinar, yeah, social network webinar, and behind the scenes. Okay, yeah, that's it of that. Okay, obviously, just go with open mind. Not everybody's going to see everything the same. But Ukraine did feel a lot of reptilian bases that are mostly underground. Now, Russia has something similar, but there are some really powerful reptilian beings. I would say there's some even white reptilian, and I'm more going looking at the ones that are troublemakers. A white reptilian race. Interesting. I do see them with gold teeth. At least, yeah, maybe not all gold teeth, but some gold teeth there. Jeez. And they have like I guess, a raptor type of mentality where they can. I don't know. I get the word raptor, so they have a way of mind controlling, a very powerful mind control. That's like practically unheard of. I mean, it's heard of, but it's still pretty rare overall. And that's in Ukraine. There might be somewhere else too, but yeah, white reptilians with I know it sounds pretty good, gold teeth, but doesn't mean all their teeth are gold. I just see a gold teeth energy there, but just very powerful mind control and something about their energy too. They can something about aging. They can force aging on a person. Like a person starts to age very quickly. It's almost like giving them cancer. They're just very toxic beings. It's more like the capital of Ukraine underground. Obviously, it's in another dimension. Uh, yeah, the influence doctors to be corrupt. Yeah, it's just basically influencing on many different levels. Let's see, the president was it the prime minister? What do you call it? The Ukraine. Yeah, it's called. Let's see if it's called a president. Yeah, this is obviously another sellout. Of course, most of them are. Yeah, he feels very reptilian controlled. Yeah, he has a lot of billionaires that tell him what to do. Obviously, right? Well, they have interests in a lot of yeah, they're just the billionaires that are controlling the government. They have a lot of interests around the world, and obviously they want to keep those interests going so they can still be rich, even what they're doing is not illegal or inhumane. So it has a lot to do with just the wealth that's controlling the government. And if you look up Ukraine, usually there's a lot of wealth in Russia and Ukraine. Let's see here, billionaires. Ukraine billionaires. And let's see here. Yeah, something like the 100 wealthiest people are in Ukraine. I don't know. I'm not reading that right, but either way, it's still a lot of wealthy people. Yeah, they just don't care. They just want to be rich and nothing like owning a politician. Obviously, there's nothing more high of that. So in Ukraine, let's see. Yeah, it's like they're actually more like a new. I do get the word new world order. I mean, they really want to control the world's oil reserves. They have some influence there. Of course, there's some Saudi connections there. Of course, it's just basically putting the Earth's grid is the grid around the Earth is basically you can say oil. Of course, nothing new there. Yeah, commodities, of course. Of course, this pricing commodities another way of putting a grid around the planet. So it's just basically suffocating humanity. Obviously, creating poorer regions around the world. A lot of these wealthy people are obviously doing it. It's not all of it's coming from Ukraine, but quite a bit of influence is coming from there. They're just basically making people poor, basically. South America, Argentina, most likely Africa too. But see around South America, they like to influence that so they can create drug lords and things of that kind. So, and of course, they're making money off of the drugs. So, they just, yeah, they like their third world countries. Let's put it that way. Some of that's coming from Ukraine, not all of it. Of course, there is some Saudi manipulation going on there, of course. On a more positive level, of course, there's a lot of Palladian energies, Syrian energies, but a lot of Palladian Nordic beings. So just it feels like they have to wait this out. Well, I believe they've been trying to intervene, heal it, but it's like human progress has to do what it has to do, or human growth, whatever you want to call it. They can't They can only interfere for so long because there are controlling interests here. Because if an alien race does interfere with us too much in a positive way, they can get stopped. Um, Either way, it's not good. Without going into details, that's why you don't see. I mean, we do get positive help, but it's all depending on the human race too. If they're accepting that help, and that's not always the case. It's complicated. Either way. But yeah, Ukraine. Uh, I feel like what next month it'll be completely taken over. So I guess even just because they invaded doesn't mean they have it in full possession. I do feel a lot of Zetas and the Korean energy level. Trying to help this, where it doesn't look as bad as it is. I don't know what that, that's not the best energy, of course. Yeah, they're trying to. Geez, I guess some negative grays are trying to cover things up. It's pretty bad out there. So I imagine you can imagine that. So it's too bad. They're just whitewashing it through the media, of course. A lot of it's going through CNN. Of course, the BBC to a certain extent, but mostly CNN. Let's see. All right, we'll just give that a little bit of break. It's yeah, obviously a lot of people there are innocent that shouldn't be involved with any of it are getting hurt through all this. That's the bad part, of course, and of course the army. Yeah, of course, there's a lot of lies to start this war, but either way, it feels like once it's over. Unless the UN or NATO attacks Russia, which I don't think they're going to do because they don't, and then they'll have to fight back, maybe. Yeah, so that's what will cause a war. So Ukraine's having a problem, but if anyone else starts to fight Russia, that's when it can blow out into a war. It doesn't mean it'll go to World War III. I don't think it's going to go to World War III, but you know, the Middle East is another place that has to not be invaded, but healed. Oh yeah, that's right. This whole convoy that's going in the United States, it's going to Washington D.C. Yeah, there's a possibility of that being like a small revolution there. If they stay there for a long time in DC, the convoy, because they're all going there now. If they stay there for like months, which I think they are planning on it, months or I think they want to stay there years. But I don't think they're going to be able to do that. There might be like some small, like a little versions of you know, a civil war sort of. So anyway, yeah, there's some the Zetas around the Ukraine thing. Disinfo agents, some of them. Well, those are controlled by reptilian beings, if I could pick up on. Now, like a positive reptilian energy here, um, it feels like they have to let things play out. It's like they've done a lot of diplomatic work here, but it feels like Ukraine's become so corrupt over time. Obviously, not to say Russia's much better. I mean, you have Ukraine is corrupt, and you have Russia. It's like the government's a little bit better, not by much though, especially when it comes to human rights and free speech. So yeah, it gets complicated there. It's just that's a difficult one to mess with. Yeah, messing with Russia's not a good idea. So okay, we move on to Area 51. We'll go back to Ukraine if it's necessary. Of course, send our send energies, positive vibrations to Ukraine. It's not we are on a war planet, so it does what it does best. Uh, if you got Black Friday in the U.S. where everyone's staying cool, maybe this world has hope after all. So Area 51, there is a lot of Palladian energies. There's a lot of course, underground facilities, a lot of hidden ones. Like you have an underground facility, but then you have another. You might have all these different type of hidden facilities. A lot of them are small, so it's difficult to get into certain places. It does seem like there's areas within Area 51 underground. It's hard to breathe. Like they control the air. Like they can give you air or remove it from the room. Also, a lot of Zetas have been had an autopsy in Area 51 underground, like way underground. I feel Edwards Air Force Base too. Like someone did an alien autopsy on a Zeta and took it to Edwards Air Force Base, which isn't that far away. For what reason? Something to do about alien disease. And I believe they put that in some of our diseases too, unfortunately. And a lot of it did come from the Zetas. Reptilians, like, has there been an autopsy of a reptilian being, or I don't think so. Um, there've been attempts, like the Zetas, are, you know, it's just no, I don't know. The Zetas are a little strange, obviously, on all levels. Well, some of them do come from the future. Not all of them. I mean, technically, all aliens come from a future, but either way, some get real complicated with that. Yeah, we won't get confused. There's plenty of ways of doing that. Uh, yeah. Let's see. There's a lot of Palladian Nordic beings that are trying to heal Area 51 and let some troops through, but they're not really allowed to do that. Um, it's just Yeah, Area 51 is just a place of darkness. It's like the God particle energy was left out. So it's like you have nothing but darkness there. A lot of it is underground. And it's a lot of mind control energies, and I don't think people are really ready to see what's there. Some people are. Most aren't. When you turn off higher vibration, there's nothing there. I mean, there's something there, but it's not exactly calm and warm and fuzzy. Yeah, it's just yeah, there's a lot of scientists, obviously black ops scientists that are there. A lot of them being mind controlled by for like drugs. Yeah, it's like an off-world military. Figure that one out. An off-world military controlling our military. All right, obviously who knows going to believe this, but it's like a what I'm getting is like a military from the future is messing with our military here. Are you ready for that one? It's like, jeez. Just when no wonder we can't come out of this. I'm serious. Yeah, that's the vibe I get. A military from the future, advanced from a future version of our Earth, is doing a lot of this, and they're not exactly easy to pick up on either. So at least that's the vibe I'm getting from that. Now, obviously, they're not going to make themselves known. I mean, I don't know. It's just I don't know how to like prove any of this. It'd be nice. Uh, I don't think they want to be proved. God, I think this stuff's so wild. Your average new ager will mostly never accept it. Yeah. Of course, when you talk about aliens and reptilian beings and grays and all that, you do have some. So a military from the future might not be all that surprising. Yeah, it's from different groups. Some of it's from China, some of it's from Switzerland. It's not really making itself too clear, but let's see. Of course, a lot of memories of the aliens. People actually seen them. Obviously, those memories have a lot have been distorted, meaning they did see it, but a lot of it's been memories have been removed, and because they don't want people to remember this stuff for obvious reasons. And I don't think the recent president, like Trump, or even before that, Obama, they're not supposed to know about Area 51 for the most part, obviously. I do feel, yeah, the clone energies of Biden again. Jeez. I would say one or two, or at least near Area 51 underground. There's somewhere. At least the vibration is there. Yes. Like a younger version of them is there. Okay, I guess. Anyway, good luck on proving that. Let's see here. Yeah, I do feel the bird races, the carrion races are there too. Deep, like extremely deep underground. Obviously, they're not the hawk beings, is what they're showing. Yeah, I'm not sure if humanity is ready for much of anything, really. Jeez. Yeah, I don't. Skinwalker Ranch has had some scientists from Area 51 there, like in another dimension. But even in our dimension, there's something underground or some. I don't know if it's an underground facility in Skinwalker Ranch, but there could be. But it has a lot. Skinwalker Ranch has a lot of connections to Area 51. A lot of the programming happened in Skinwalker Ranch. Some of their experiments, wherever something was done there. Of course, Area 51 also has a lot of Nazi energy there too, at least from the later German scientists. And they still kind of check in. So we go from Germany to Area 51. Obviously, they're not going to tell people about that. That's the vibe I'm getting. And they're usually scientists for the most part. Yeah, I guess they're working on biological weapons. Yeah, something to do with the skin, to manipulate the skin tissue. That's lovely. But they do show like Zeta is being dissected. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into details of that, but it's not pleasant. Bodies they just found. I mean, after whatever happened there. So eventually that'll be healed one day. Interesting. I feel connecting Area 51. I feel like talk shows. Something about the energy of entertainment being manipulated from Area 51, not necessarily from Area 51 itself, but they're just trying to, bring humor to our dimension, our reality, to keep us out of their business. And obviously, there's some CIA energy there on different levels. Lovely. Of course, undergrounders, that's where they remove God. And there's not much there. It's just control. Yeah, you'd be surprised how many spiritual people, they're big influencers that are being programmed and don't even know it. It's weird. It's almost like their program doesn't always work. Some are being mentally mind controlled and they have no idea that's happening. And they're not going to accept it either. Oh, it's so bizarre. Yeah, that's lovely. Let's see. Yeah, I just see a lot of alien experiments in Area 51, not just with grays, but other alien species too. There are some reptilian beings there also. Some of them just died. Of course, I know they're all in the fourth dimension and all that, but somehow they're in the third dimension. And there is reptilian beings being dissected and figured out. Yeah, lovely. Okay. We'll go to the tall white energy. So figure out to connect to the moon for the tall whites. I just get there's like several moon bases of the tall whites. The tall whites also have bases on Mars, at least one on Mars, obviously underground. And they have tall whites have a lot of influence in Alpha Centauri too, which we don't barely ever hear about. And our government has been, jeez, our government has been removed a couple of times without us noticing. We call it I don't know, just behind the scenes, it's been removed. That's where it gets weird. Well, I'll just put it. All right, I'll just say it. Like some of the politicians are projections from other realities. Obviously, we would never see the difference in our dimension. Some of are literally, I don't know how they're doing it, but it's very advanced. And they're there. They're human. They look human. It's very bizarre. I'm just putting it out there. You take it or leave it. Yeah, it's been definitely a war on the government. So a lot of government people obviously are aliens, which we would never know. Obviously, everybody's an alien to a certain extent, but there are alien infiltrators on different levels that we cannot see as a third dimensional person. You might be able to feel something there, but there's no way for us to really know. It's impossible. You have it so blocked off. I mean, yeah, just go by what you feel. and like if you just just let it come through. It's mostly the politicians because they run our reality. It's the reason I bring it up every once in a while. The politicians because they're the ones steering the ship. At least on a physical level that we can see. Obviously, there's other beings behind the scenes, but the ones that are here are definitely. I mean, like I talked about clones in the past, but uh, I'm picking up projection people. I know it sounds strange, but it's just like they're like holographic people, but they look real. They're here as real, but they have a main agenda, and there's just no way for us to see anything. Now, a person might get sick in the original version, like they get possessed or something. You can say the projection possesses them. You can say the body. We have to certain. I know it sounds very bizarre, but I'm just seeing politicians being projected here, and there's no way for us to really tell. But then the person starts to feel sick, and he gets coffee or whatever, gets a cough, and then they switch out, like they let the original come back. I know it sounds odd, but their memories start to, you know, have an idea of what they did, but they think they did it when true someone else did it. I'm trying to make this as complicated as possible. Damn, that's just too much. It's just this is why they put so much negativity on our world, so we can't see what's happening here. Obviously, they just bombard us with all this confusion. So we're so messed up, low vibration, we can't pick up. But when you tap into it, it's like even if you're tapping into it correctly, are you going to believe it? It's like it's so crazy. But as long as you have a real open mind, like really open. So, yeah. Obviously, our galactic war is. We'll go back to Ukraine for a little bit. I mean, a lot of it's being blocked for obvious reasons. I mean, technically, Ukraine is an astral war. It's you know, let's put it this way: when it, obvi- jeez, I mean, when you have like a country, a government that's doing lies all the time, it's like at so many levels of a lie, you can't function anymore. I know it sounds strange because U.S. government lies probably more than anybody. I guess they have a different a different function. But when there's just so much corruption, they just have to switch it out. What's happening now with Ukraine is a sole agreement. I know people have difficulty with it. Well, at least, um, not maybe not with everybody, but it's to retain the low vibrations here, so that makes sense. Yeah. So, but not like how it's been done in the past. Yeah, this is more of like a sleeper energy. It just they want to manipulate. It's like manipulating reality at our low vibrations, like shifting the thermostat between hot and cold. They do certain elements where they can just lower the frequency and nobody will notice. Ukraine, that's going to last a long time. It's good propaganda for the news. Obviously, there's a lot more going on than just that. There's a lot of lives are being pretty much wasted and lost, unfortunately. Some of those are going to people are going to die in that. Some of them felt like their lives weren't going anywhere anyway. Not that it justifies the death, but just some of them just feel like they're already lost and they just want to die with their country or die for some kind of good cause. And if others might not agree with it, they might not even agree with it. That's a good cause. It's an exit point for many in the military for various different reasons. So obviously, it's not going to be a huge amount of death there. Of course, you never know, but probably not. But it is definitely kind of it gives you an idea what the exit point looks like. It's on a galactic war level. So those that die during this, they're gonna be scarred with it. Some of them might wake up in an alien ship, possibly. Obviously, it's taking its own or whatever. But yeah, you go where you want to go when you die. Some feel like they need to go to hell, and they're on planet Earth with Joe Biden as president. So yeah, um, but yeah, you go where you want to go when you leave. Um, for the most part, maybe not everybody has that, but doesn't really matter. So the tall whites that are here, I feel like they are assisting. Once again, they can't interfere too much. Um, the tall whites do show like their energy in their skin rehabilitates. I mean, if you get a cut on their hand, it heals very quickly. So they master the skill of genetic engineering for like the perfect human. Of course, with the perfect human, there's a lot of flaws in their arrogance. Not to say all tall whites are like that. Some tall whites are presidents. I feel Arnold Schwarzenegger has a connection to the tall whites. You see how Arnold Schwarzenegger is really confident. Some of that is a tall white characteristic. Yeah, he's also connected to the bee people. Bees. I know it sounds a little strange, but well, for them to get their power, they have to do things to get to it. So a certain power level. So at least where they're being corrupt, at least. Let's see here. Going back to the Ukraine energy, that's kind of a hot topic right now. There are many motherships around. At least three of them. At least probably four. Uh, and they are helping with those that need to cross over to a certain extent. There's only so much they can do. But basically, they're making sure that the world doesn't blow itself up. There's no nuclear war. So that's what's not just it's tall white. There are tall white influences. I would say Putin, has a lot of reptilian. I feel like he's a tall white, actually. He's one of them. He's not super tall. But you don't have to be tall to be a tall white. I guess you can if you want to be, but for the most part, no. Of course, Putin works a lot with the Greys from different levels. He does get mind control every now. I do see that Sunday gets mind control, like the program for the week. There's no way for him to get out of that either. It just they like his energy is very forceful, and they don't want to let go of that vibration just yet. So the Ukrainians are kind of like built to fail anyway because the leadership's kind of weak from what I can see. So it's like inevitable for us to fall. So I believe even the government itself knew it was going to fall eventually due to the corruption and just some of it might be connected to boredom. It's really hard to say. It's just there's only like some of them got rich and already ran, and those that are in power that are left there are there too. You know, face the consequences. So I do feel like there's a strong, tall, white presence there. Not really going into detail what they're doing, of course. A lot of them are, yeah, a lot of tall whites are in Ukraine. No, not a lot, but okay, we'll go to more like a few. There's actually a lot in Siberia due to the space. I think there's a space program in that area somewhere. I can't remember where it was, but I feel Siberia. Yeah, just some alien beings like the reptilians all like going there. Not right now, at least. Um, yeah, with the Ukraine energy, yeah, once again, I feel like it will, yeah, resolve itself, not in a good way, of course. It might end up sooner than later when it ends, but as long as NATO or something doesn't do anything, it should be pretty calm overall. Obviously, not calm, but uh, yeah, sanctions on Russia, but I feel like there's going to be more consequences, but they're not showing me what that's going to be exactly. What does that mean? I don't feel like a Russian invasion is going to happen. Well, Russia has a strong connection to China also. So you mess with Russia, you're messing with China. It's another reason why the U.S. isn't doing anything. Just to let you know, yeah, as a China influencer. Obviously, you can look it up. It's enough. It's enough, and that's another reason why Russia's doing what they're doing because they have the backing of China, from what I can see at least. At least that's why I see it. I mean, that could be different publicly, but yeah, it feels like China's backing Russia, and obviously, U.S. wants to keep China relations decent for obvious reasons. So it's another reason. Yeah, no military action from a lot of the countries, especially U.S. I feel like they've cloned Biden and Ukraine a couple of times also. Not showing the full details of that, but hopefully. Yeah, it's definitely cloning, and I mean, obviously, it's cloning all over the place, but Ukraine, Russia, of course, some of the Russian brides have been cloned also. They're obviously an easy target. Something to do about genetics. So I know it sounds a little out there for many people, but the cloning, so they take the original person, like a Russian bride, for example, and they replace it with, you know, it's kind of a copy, but not exactly. Just for the bloodline energies they want to control. So, and if they obviously they clone, I mean, there's a lot. Not everybody's cloned on this planet, but there are a lot of clones here. And I couldn't go into full detail, but yeah, obviously a lot of that's done in the fourth dimension. Well, as people awaken, they might start seeing the cloning facilities are definitely around the world. You just can't see them. Obviously, I want you to see it, something like that. So, and some people deliberately clone themselves for protection purposes. So, let's see one more. I don't see any surrendering from Putin. Putin is helped by reptilian beings. There's kind of like a proud energy there from other lifetimes. So they feel like they're unbeatable. And in some ways, they're right, especially when you have China in your pocket. Yeah, they both are pretty, they've done business with each other for a long time. So right now, China and Russia relations are pretty decent. At least that's what we see, even on the surface, but most likely on the surface too, because they like to move fast. So, all right, let's leave it at that. There's probably more I can, obviously more I can go into, but we'll just leave it at that. So, all right. Hopefully, some of that was somewhat helpful. Yeah, it's been kind of a long day, so I'm still recovering from yesterday, actually. So, all right, sending energies. Yeah, well, before it is a crystallizing energy around Ukraine for it to be healed after everything has been done. So, obviously, many people are sending healing to that part of the world, but astrally or your alien self would be connected to it for sure. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. Okay, all right, blessings, and catch you tomorrow. Much love.